What's good, y'all? This is the real A-Town, aka RGB Fox. Here we see Ferris on the bottom taking Dinkabooey swag. I swear players cannot do... They don't have their own swag anymore, you know what I mean? Where they'll do their own way to start up a match, right? But here we see him drop a Fualos immediately. And Karsten, you know, here I've seen him on the channel play Dracotail multiple times at this point. And he starts with Lucas. Looks like he upgraded his deck with a nice ass Starlight. I myself got a full collector rare core, but if I got it Starlight, oh boy. And, okay. So here we see Ash and Valor on Ferris's side, choosing not to hit the Lucas. Okay, that's interesting. Here on the effect of the Arthalion to add back, we will see Valor hit the Arthalion. And we also see cards like Bell, Imperm, no starters for him so far. Also, he must be a new player, this Ferris gentleman, because the way he is shuffling the cards in his hand is that of someone that's not very experienced, right? You know, hand shuffling is not like an indicator of someone's, you know, ability to play the game. But what it will indicate is, you know, whether or not they've been playing the game for a while. So he might be fairly new, but we'll see. So here we see Karsten actually, I think, playing all of the new traps. Although I think he decided not to set Sting, instead setting Ketu. And then, you know, here we also see Horn and Flame. The Horn and Flame are probably not going to get much value, sadly, because Ferris has both Ash and Bell, which is going to be able to stop both of these trap cards. So if Karsten doesn't have any further follow-up plays or interruptions, he's going to be down in the dumps. Now, he did use Lucas, and he utilized the Rahu, right? Which utilized, I think, maybe 5 mana in hand and Malulu. But I think one thing that Karsten should have done is sent Urgula from the deck, because unfortunately he missed out on a prime opportunity to be able to, you know, get the 5 mana back. Here we see Karsten did Ash the Ketu, and looks like he passed. Yeah, Ferris passing his turn. I was wondering why Karsten added a card here, but it looks like that's the reason why. Now here we're gonna see an Infinite Impermanence hit him on the Lucas, which has to feel a little tough, right? I mean, you want to be able to play the game, but the one problem with playing multiple hand traps in a deck like Yummy is, sadly, you're going to end up in this position where you just don't have enough, you know, engine to play. And this is also during the premiere event, so it's also likely that Ferris did not get access to cards like Marshmallow Yummy. On pre-release, they were hitting $70. So yeah, it's understandable. Now here we're going to see Karsten summon the Arthalion. I'm hoping he did use one card in hand, because, you know, you have to for the Dracotail fusions. And it looks like that is exactly what happened, as he did declare the effect, which gets impermanenced. I guess not wanting to play into like a talent of some sort. I'm trying to think of the amount of cards that he could possibly have in hand, but I guess at this point he would be left with none. And again, he sends the Pan instead of the Urgula here, which is just very confusing. But now he does set Sting, and the Crowley was the other card in the graveyard. You know, yeah, it doesn't make sense unless he sent the Crowley, which I doubt. But we'll see. We'll see. You know, ultimately it could have been the Crowley from hand and the Pan from the deck. But again, Urgula would have just been nasty there, right? Anyways, he's going to hit him with, I believe that's 78 points of damage. And we see him top deck the, I believe that was Minion. And he has to, you know, scoop it up here. So we'll be back for game 2. Now, here we are, game number 2. And we see him with a starter along with some hand traps. So likely we're going to see him, you know, utilize those hand traps turn 1. Which is going to be the case for Almirage here. So potentially not playing Link Karibo. Not that you need it, of course, but you know, it is an option. Here we're going to see him special summon the Cookie and now synchro summoning for the Cupsy. Yeah, he has to be a new player. The way his hand movements are just, you know, awkward whenever he's playing the deck. This allows him to grab the Cupsy plus the Lollipo, and he discards Lollipo. So perhaps not wanting to go for the full combo, but we'll see here. Here he link summons into the Snatchy effect. He's probably going to have to place Minion considering how awkward his hand was. And it is going to be the Minion. Minion here can now go ahead and special summon out the... Oh, actually choosing not to. It looks like he's going to instead summon the Cupsy to grab the surprise. And now he can Reborn if he wants. Looks like he will Reborn the Lollipo. A Nib here would be very nice, but no Nib. We're going to see him summon the Lollipo Yummy Way, which is going to summon out a copy of Cupsy and a copy of Cookie. Really? Okay. Not wanting to summon out the Cupsy Synchro from the graveyard. Perhaps thinking that Herald is not worth it, or maybe he's going to make Herald with the Lollipo here. So he link ones into the Yummy Snatchy. Now looks like he is going to go for the Metal Marcher effect, special summon back out. And then from here he can make Herald, but this feels kind of bad, doesn't it? Because now you don't have a level 1. And normally in the combo you would use the Synchro 2 that's effects are negated with the Metal Marcher to make the Snatchy, and then you have an extra level 1 on field so that you can utilize it. But okay, so this is interesting. Karsten choosing to use Nib here at the end. I guess this is fine because this allows him to be able to actually utilize cards like Rahu, and if he's playing Branded or Shaddoll cards, also that, so that it doesn't get affected by the Herald. But we'll see if he's able to play out through the rest of the back row. So here, Ferris paying half his life points. And yeah, no, stopping the Malulu was enough. So we're on to the next game. Alright, back to game number 3. We see him drop Fua immediately. This is just bad gameplay, but it's always going to reward him, I guess. Normal summon the Lucas. Lucas effect is going to go ahead and search him for... it could be any monster, and here we can't really see because the camera is not angled to where we can see past the spell and trap zone on the top side. But Retaliating Sea is going to be utilized, and now he's going to chain Phimena so that he can actually have his materials hit the graveyard here. So he's utilizing Phimena, what else? Malulu and Lucas, kind of like what happened in game number 1. In order to fusion summon for, it could be Urgula. Instead, he goes for the Arthalion, but now if he can fusion summon, he still has to resolve Rahu. Okay, so maybe he didn't have a monster. He gets 2 sets though. Ends up wanting to return, I forget exactly what here. Setting both the Horn. See, I think what he should have done is gone Chainlink 1 Malulu, Chainlink 2 Lucas, with the Urgula on the field so that he could pop the Retaliating Sea. And if he decides to use anything to protect the Retaliating, I mean, I guess in this case, Malulu can negate the Retaliating Sea anyways, right? So I guess this is fine. Let's see. Lucas was 1 monster, which got him either Phimena or Malulu, which left him with 4 cards in hand. Rahu was the second. Well, let's call it 1. Phimena, Malulu, 2 and 3. So yeah, if he didn't have a monster in hand, then you know, he wouldn't have been able to resolve Rahu. But we'll you know, assume that was the case. This Retaliating Sea is negated forever because I do think Malulu negates permanently as long as the monster's face up on the field. However, Ferris does not have a starter. Oh, okay, yeah, he forgot to draw off the Fua. Right? Yeah, he did. So he drew into more hand traps. There's not a real way to fix this problem in Yummy aside from reducing the number of hand traps you play and increasing the amount of level 1s, right? And with Marshmallow, you can play 12 level 1 monsters, and I think that might be correct because I was playing Yummy this weekend and I didn't have the Marshmallows. So obviously my hand trap count was higher, and I wish I had like an extra 3 essentially monsters to be able to play, because either I had no starters or I had 1 starter and no extender. So yeah, it looks like Yummy is likely to brick in those circumstances. Now here we have Karsten activating another card, looks like to be a Rahu, which gets Ash Blossom, but this is okay. You know, obviously you want to be able to fuse off and everything, but if it's not going to happen, it's not going to happen. From here, I think Karsten would just have to pass, honestly. You know, 4 materials, or 2 materials in graveyard, 2 Rahus. But the moment that, oh, okay. So he's able to fuse somehow? Did he use 5 mana? Yeah, he had to have used 5 mana. Okay, there we go. Which does utilize the Urgula to make the, what's her name? Gulamel. Gulamel effect will now be able to be Chainlink 2 if the Urgula is able to activate and, you know, there is no interruptions. So Chainlink 1, Urgula. If nothing, Chainlink 2, Gulamel will be able to pop one of the other set spell and traps in Ferris's field, which, you know, you'd have to feel very good, because afterwards you'll be able to Urgula bring back the 5 mana to your hand. So, okay. Looks like Ferris is going to choose to imperm the Gulamel, and honestly, you were better off not even, well, I guess it does stop the trap in the column, but it's still gonna pop. So you're losing both cards anyways, no matter what happens here. Yeah, not the best use, and unfortunately, he sets the Purge because he has double Ash in hand, and if you use Purge, you can't use Fire Monster effects, right? So, I mean, yeah, it's the luck of the draw, sadly. On top of it already being a poor matchup overall, I just don't see Ferris winning at this point. Ketsu searches the what's-his-face Lucas, which gets him to any body that he wants. At this point, Pan is probably going to have to come into rotation, and then Urgula can put itself back in order to add back the 5 mana. And with no other cards to interrupt Karsten, it looks like this will be Karsten's game, because what he can do is fuse into a Arthalion, and then bring Arthalion back from the grave, and that's game. So add back the 5 mana. I guess. Wait, what? Why? Is this main phase 2? Am I tripping? Did I forget that? Or oh well. I guess this is all good. He banishes the retaliate. I feel like this was unnecessary, like wholeheartedly. But who am I to criticize? Oh, hello. Sadly, oh, actually no. This Obedience School should resolve, right? Because he has Ash Blossom for the flame. I mean, you got to do it. Activate Obedience School, Chain Flame. Will he Ash Blossom? Does he know that he can Ash this card? You have to Ash it. There's literally nothing that you can do. Oh no, he doesn't Ash the card, and so this is a knowledge check here. Oh man, yeah. I think if Ferris was able to resolve Obedience School, I think he was actually in a really good spot, 100%. That is crazy to me. And yeah, he passes back to Karsten's turn. Karsten opening with a Ketu, which is going to get Ash Blossom, but I think at this point it really doesn't matter. He's going to fuse 5 mana with Urgula and Veiler. Okay, he needs to discard the 5 mana for cost. I hate the fact that he's doing this. And now he's going to be able to summon back 2 more bodies and set. So I mean, Ferris is cooked here, dude. You gotta take the L and, you know, scoop it up. I hate when players don't scoop up either, cause like you know, you're risking a double loss. Not here because it's 20 minutes, but now that he sees that it's game, boom, GG's. Unfortunately, Ferris losing game number 1 in a bricking style, but it's gonna happen. Thank you guys for watching. If you guys want to participate in tournaments just like this one, please head on over to Card Haven, where they host daily Yu-Gi-Oh tournaments.